Guys, good evening. Welcome to Ticket Talk tonight. I have the pleasure of welcoming a gentleman who made the first ticket bot ever in ticketing, changed the landscape of the game. Ken Lowson. Ken, it is great to have you on, my friend. It's been great to get to know you over the past couple of days. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Had a good day. I'm happy to be on the show, and I feel gratitude for being here. How about that?
So let's go into that. We were talking personally earlier today, and what impressed me about you is that you have been 10 years sober.
Yeah.
And that's just an impressive feat on its own to be sober for 10 years. And you think the case against you saved your life because you were able to get sober, able to go from being a bad actor in ticketing to now a good actor. Just explain to the viewers of being sober and getting off of alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
For 10 years now. That's impressive.
Yeah, well, they raided me in 2009, and then the case went on, for 5 years or whatever. So by 2014, I had started during the case to try to stop, and at the end, just finally, I had one time where everybody in my life kind of tough loved me, and I just cold turkeyed it for 30 days, and that was the end of it. And I know that most people can't do that. That it's like a 3% success rate, but I have pretty strong willpower too at the same time. So it did literally, because I would have probably continued partying if I'd been making the kind of money I was making as much. I made way too much, way too fast. I mean, I now look back on it and wish I had made it slower and it would have lasted and been more stable. But, we shot up to 10 million plus a year there. And so the case did save my life. That's true.
That's amazing. So let's dive into it with Wise Guy Tickets. Like how did you get started in ticketing? How did everything come in fruition for really having the first successful bout in ticketing? You made a shit ton of money, millions. The U2 concert was a break it down. Just explain to us, how did this all happen? How did you get into ticketing, and how did you really invent the first bot ever used in ticketing?
So there's this guy named Junio who would buy tickets on the phone in Las Vegas, who was friends with a buddy of mine. And I was an insurance broker selling workers' comp insurance in California, watching my clients go out of business because the lawyers had this scam going on where if 10% of your stress came from work, you could go out on workers' comp. I mean, so I felt bad for my clients. I realized that insurance was just one big scam, and I felt bad about it. So my friend called me up. He's like, "Man, we just made $2,000, buying tickets on the phone. All you got to do is sweet talk the operators, and you can get for first row tickets at the Garden if you're good at it." And I'm like, "Really?" Because I was good on the phone or whatever. And so we opened a phone room in Las Vegas to start. That's how we really started. And we had 25 people in there buying tickets. And we were really good at that, really good. We were really good at timing the prompts and, this show, hit for hold at 9 minutes too. And this is a hot show, so hit for, and they're not supposed to stay on the phone with you unless the sale started, right? So sure. You want to get in 10 seconds before it started. And, please don't. Or go check out this show. And then, oh, by the way, Bruce Springsteen's going on sale. Can you check that out at $6.57 or whatever? And then, so we were doing pretty well with that. The Cleveland Indians got into the playoffs. We made big money on that. The Rolling Stones did a tour where the front 10 tickets were $90 each, but the tickets 11 through 30 were $350, and you could only get that first 10 on the phone. So that was our big score. Our first big score was that big score, 50,000, because I remember it was 1999, and we went to Bali and celebrated it. And then I came back, and I noticed that it was moving towards the internet, and we bought some computers and had some teenagers types buying tickets manually for us, and that was going okay. And I started looking, I'm like, this seems awful easy that we could automate this. And then I got lucky. I recruited a kid from Bulgaria. He was only 17 years old.
Wow.
And he just turned out to be the best coder in the ticketing business. I mean, there was no one better than literally smart, one of the smartest guy I ever met, and he worked for me the whole time until the end, where the Fed scared anyway, so I got lucky with him, and he built it for me, and it went from 4 computers with one IP each, where they didn't care, and we could buy as many seats as we wanted. And the one thing we never did was break. I know they didn't enforce them, but we on purpose didn't break the ticket limit rules ever, because we had our clients. We were always the wholesaler,
Hmm.
and I gotta charge my phone here real quick. Um, they sorry.
Yeah,
So
take your time.
it started out with 4 computers with just one IP each, and that was fine. And we started making tons of money right away. Like for us at that time, making $50,000 a week was a lot of money, And then it just got more sophisticated from there. We went from one IP to machines that had 16 IPs, but I would make the co-location companies make 4 IPs on this C class, 4 IPs on this C class. Got all the way up to what we called 512 machines, which were 16 IPs on 16 different C classes, and the IPs couldn't be next to each other. And
Wow.
so at the end, I had like 20 of these $5,000 Apple servers, all with 512 IPs. And yeah, and we just got better and better at it. And, I would say the biggest reason for the success was that everybody, literally, I don't know anybody else, they were all kind of 300-pound gorillas. Like they believed that, smack Ticketmaster as hard as you can to get the seats. We were way more surgical than that. If we wanted 100 seats, we used 100 IPs because my guy was so good at getting in first. Like, we would do things like on the internet, like hops, for example. Normally, it takes 20 hops to get from your computer to their site. He would make it so it was only 1 or 2, or he would strip the page down so the ads didn't load and it would make us faster and things like that. And we just kept improving it and improving it. And they loved me. Like, I used to get thanked at the NATV convention for being the best customer, and all the rest of it. And so I thought everything was honky dory. And then I think it was just a misdirection, like 25 rules of disinformation kind of thing. And like,
Sure.
they in the end, the judge, luckily for me, the judge recognized that at the end and got mad about it and told them you're wasting taxpayers' money and stuff like that. But the feds don't lose. Because I thought, okay, I can leave now, and they're like, no. Either you can take us to court if you want, but I promise you'll be bankrupt. Or take this plea. I have 2 kids. I still had some millions left. We won't send you to jail. We'll put you on probation for a couple of years. And at least you walk out of here. And that ended it. But, and they kept my bail too. Like $1 million in cash. But yeah, it's like, I thought bail, you're supposed to get bail back when you show up. But anyways, that's fine. That was the past. And I don't want to, again, like I feel like it saved my life. So I don't want to sit here and bag on it because it was a good thing for me as a person, and it was a good thing for I believe the ticket business too, long term. I hope that things get better, even though they seem sometimes to be getting worse with the dynamic pricing and the trickle selling and all the rest of it. It's all designed around FOMO. I mean,
Right.
but I also get it. Like, look, the promoters are the underwriters of the show. Like, they're the ones taking the financial risk. The big artists are getting paid no matter what. They're getting flat amounts of money no matter how the tickets sell. And I've been in meetings where it's always an English guy as a manager. I need $2 million a show for my band to play, mate. Well, but the tickets, you won't let us charge more than $125 a ticket. Like, the total amount adds up to 1.6. That's your problem, mate. We need $2 million a show. And like, so what's the promoter supposed to do? He has to resell them for more money than the face value, or he's going to lose on every show. So, I can see that. I can see it kind of from all angles that, but there, I think, like, as the Buddha said, there's a middle way here. People need brokers. I'm a classic example. Like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, much less like 8 months from now. I'm not going to buy a ticket for a show 8 months from now. I could be in a meeting in Tokyo. I mean, so like, how, I'm a classic guy who needs a broker because like I buy the night of the show. Typically I know 20 or 30 seats are empty because VIPs don't show up and I can walk down to a good seat anyways. But yeah,
Right.
but there is a legitimate need for ticket brokers, and I think that's the thing that really should be pushed the most to the public, because the fans can be selfish too, because oh, why isn't that first row center seat sitting there for me when I want it 4 months after the sale went, like
Right.
yeah, so everybody's kind of battling with it, and then and I do think that there's a happy middle, and I think that there's a way to level the playing field so that everybody has, if you study and work hard and have intel and you know what you're doing and know how to make money, hey, that's a profession. Okay, look, even if you're not a ticket broker professionally, you're just a fan, and you get lucky and you get 4 seats at $100, and you find out they're worth $2,000 each. Guess who the next reseller is? Because I mean, the guy's got to pay his rent too, right? And it's not like there's it's like the middle class isn't growing. Like half
Right.
of Americans, half of their money goes to rent as it is. So I think look, if everybody else is selling tickets, the fans should be able to sell them too. I mean, everybody should be able to do it. It should be a market. It should be a free marketplace, and the rules should be there. I mean, I think one of the bigger problems is that you have you really don't have any rules at all in the business.
Right.
It's like stock market. Like that they made that argument in my case. Like, what's the difference between hyper stock trading and what my client does? Like, and anyways, I couldn't figure that out either. But
Absolutely.
the real that don't I would say that we're entering into a new era. The baby boomers are on the way out or out already. You got Gen Xers like me, but it's all about the millennials and the Gen Ys. They're on the up and coming, and they're the ones that we want to serve and teach and show how to do this right way. And our site's not the greatest site in the world. Ticket metric and ticket flipping, they got more stuff than us. But we're old school. We pick up the phone. I give you people my private number.
Love it.
We send out information like, when Robert Plant dropped, I mentioned to you, my 10 top clients got that info. When Copa went, so, depending on the relationship, ours, we have an intel service,
Awesome. No, this is all great stuff, and yeah, we'll plug your company. Talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So back to your heyday, like in your heyday of using the bots and YouTube, how much money were you generating per year? How much margin were you making in the heyday of Wise Guy tickets?
Our best year was 12 million gross profit and 9 million pre-tax. Wow. Yeah.
Solid year.
Oh, nobody believes it, but it's true. And I had about 40 people in the office, and yeah, I mean, I was paying 18, 19-year-olds $100K a year back then. And I foolishly thought I could buy loyalty. But that's not true. You got to earn that. So afterwards, everybody hated me because I was the one who sold them the dream, and then the dream went away. So everybody was used to this cush job that Ken was giving them in this fun environment. And
so you said like it was like the Wolf of Wall Street environment. We're talking like drugs, we're talking Adderall, we're talking like it was just like the Wolf of Wall Street movie in ticketing.
I mean, we did as much crazy shit as that movie. I'll say that.
Love it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like speedy stuff because I never did like speedy stuff because my mind is already a million miles a minute. So for me, it was more booze and all that kind of stuff that I really.
Awesome. No, glad we got you.
Yeah,
sober and so forth.
You're like that for sure. And it's it was tough going through it, just because like the last thing you ever want to go through is having a federal prosecutor. Like they don't care about, all they care about is winning. And
right.
It doesn't matter what the truth was. And like what they came after me was on that law. South Park made a episode about it where anybody who clicked the terms of service button of any site, if they broke it, they were automatic felons. And that's what they came after me on. And it was like, what, really? And like, anyway, so that's it. That's how that ended up. Yeah.
Got it. No, no, thanks for telling about it. So obviously, like over the last like decade, people obviously learned from you, created bots on steroids over the last decade. And obviously there's
Or
sweatshops
or like
overseas.
my so-called ex-partner went around and sold that technology to 100 guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a major problem still in ticketing. They're everywhere. Some made hundreds of thousands, maybe millions off the Taylor Swift drops. Obviously Coldplay drops. It's a huge problem. Obviously, ticket legislation is taking a stance, going after big companies like KIG and a couple others that have been out there. How have the bots evolved over the years? How much more technically inclined are they advanced from when you used them at Wise Guy Tickets?
Well, I can't actually tell you. It's been so long. Like, I'm not a coder myself. Like, yeah, did I sit there with the coder every day and go, do this, fix this, let's do this, let's make this better, did we build it together? Absolutely. But I was never a key banger. I don't know how to code. Okay. And so I've been out of it for so long. I mean, the last time I was before they raided me in 2009 that I saw something. So there's been a lot of advancements, right?
Right, a ton.
um, uh, I know I'm sure there's guys. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but it sure seems like there's guys that are breaking the waiting line, and getting in without having to wait. I don't know how they're doing it. I know the guy at Hewitt. He's a good guy. He's doing his best, but it sure seems like I don't know. I don't know what's true anymore. I really don't, and I don't know how sophisticated they are anymore because I don't do that. So I wouldn't have a. I
That's
mean,
fair.
we had our peakest point, like I said, we had 20 co-located servers times 512 IPs each, and yeah, we could get like on the U2 tour, the floor seats. New York out of 500, we got 496. Boston, we got 492. LA, we got 494. Or the Pasadena Rose Bowl, we got 996 out of 1,000. So yeah, I mean, we were in there, and we were in there fast and in and out quick, and we even left the seats sitting there so the fans would get them because we knew there was 100 guys behind us. We didn't want our competition to get the few we missed out on. So actually fans were getting more seats than back then when we told the feds this. We're like, if you take us out, it's going to get 100 times worse. But
And it did.
it did. And I think now, now it's kind of like the government thinks of marijuana, right? Like Ticketmaster is looking at it like, oh, this is whoever, the primary, whoever is looking at it like, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. And I think that's going on. It's obvious. Platinum and all that stuff,
Yeah, obviously playing, like you said, with the promoters and maximizing ticket prices and so forth. And yeah, obviously distribution too. We got consolidators out there. I mean, the ecosystem of ticketing, the distribution is, when we can talk, Ken, here for 10 hours here and about that.
Right, yeah. I mean, and everybody has their interest, and yeah, you can't really. I mean, you could blame the cheaters all day long, but it's hard to blame a guy or a company that puts up $100 million for a tour, and then is responsible legally to their stockholders to make a return. I mean, like, so you can't really blame. It's hard to blame the promoters. I think that it should be more transparent. I don't think that, I like the way that it's all in one price now. I don't like that I have to click an off button to see the real price. I think that's kind of shady. I think the speculative guys, I don't know if that's good or not for the business. I've never done that, but I know that guys
it's not good when they bust. So, I mean, obviously, and obviously the complaint there is only 1% bust and so forth. It seems like it might be a little bit more than that, but yeah, I mean, I've been against
on the spec. You mean
on the spec? Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's but what it does is it queers the market, right? Like, so the artists and everybody sees tickets and they go, oh my God, somebody got $5,000 for that ticket. Oh yeah, well, one person paid 5,000, but guess what? There's 500 other seats in the first 10, and the average is really more like 450 or 500. But then they get it in their heads, like you can see by the mispricing that goes on some of these shows, where like not a single seat sells. I mean, the sale goes, and they all just sit there, and so it's obvious that they're overpriced. And so where are they getting that from? They're getting that from this hype that, oh, the ticket brokers are making all the money and blah 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 blah. Well, it should be, I think, an equal shared responsibility there. The artists have a part of it. They definitely have something to say on the prices. There's still some what artists I would call true blue, like the guy from Radiohead or Garth Brooks, or there's guys that don't. Robert Plant. I mean, maybe there was some platinum later, but in the beginning it was $80 upstairs and 160 at the bottom. Um, um, it's hard for me to be a judge anyone. I'm just trying to I'm trying to build a base of brokers for our company, then service them, and we like the subscription model, and I like the whole intel part of it. I like getting in there and getting in the guts of it and figuring out. Like we take a note on every venue. We know this venue has these seats over here, and all the little details about everything. That's the kind of stuff I like now.
So your objective, obviously, with Tix Fans, your fairly new company, is to help fans obviously get rid of their tickets, sell tickets, and become their own brokers, so that obviously they can benefit if they can't attend a show, whatever. Explain the business model of Tix Fans.
Well, Tix Fan right now, okay, is really a place that we recruit pullers from.
Okay.
So, we thought, okay, it's good. Let's offer a gig income to the fans, show them how to do it. Some of them get tired of only making $2 or $3 a seat when they buy seats, and they say they want to buy with their own credit cards, and we say, okay, and then we help them become a ticket broker. And so, yeah, we've helped a lot of guys a lot of fans that were interested in it. And there's a lot of them that come to our site and just ask for advice, and they learn how to buy a ticket for themselves, and that's fine too. But we also, that's how we get our pullers, and that's how we're able to get tickets for our brokers as well. So, the big change in the model is, it went from bots to having fans pull for us, and it's a lot slower. It's a lot harder to scale. I'll tell you that. Doing business honestly is a lot harder to make.
It's a lot tougher than using bots, making 1,000 tickets at once.
Even though I mean, Wise Guy, it took me 8 years before I saw really big money from it, and then we had a good run there for about 7 years, and then bam, they nailed me, and so now I'm just into the intelligence of it all, and I also believe I'm the only person in the world who, I title myself a ticketing fiduciary. So we go in to buy from venues, or we do consignments, or, things like that, to the point where I can't even say their name unless I ask their permission. That's how quiet. I bring my lawyer. There's client attorney privilege, and so there's that we see the future for us in the intelligence, in helping the younger brokers grow, and then also helping the reputation of the artists, helping the reputation of the venues, helping them price properly so that their fans aren't angry with them, but they still make the most. Like, there's better ways to do this. Like,
right.
You don't have to just take the easy way out and say, oh, charge if they put a little more effort into it, then things can come out where the fans are happy, the artists are happy, and the venue's happy. Like, everybody could be happy. If this, it just seems like the greed has just gotten so out of control. Like, my average at Wise Guy was $24.56 a ticket. Did we buy 1 million tickets? Yeah, but our average was $24.56. Like,
wow.
It wasn't, I mean, there were scores where we did better than that, but overall, that was our average. So, I know that my brokers made double than that on the seats I bought for them. So, yeah. It's easy to blame the scalpers. They've been doing it since the beginning. This shit goes back to the first Greek tragedy, where some fat guy wanted to impress his girl and paid some fat guy to sit in his seat. And they call it the second oldest profession. I mean, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I mean, it's always going to be around. What I've seen worldwide is that if the laws go too far, then the gangsters take it over.
Sure.
They go too far the other way.
Great.
Then like the bot thing happens, or the other greedy people have it. So there is this middle path to it where, it could be good for everyone. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm trying to make.
But exactly. But I mean, to your point, like say if Live Nation, Ticketmaster create a closed market, lobby the Trump administration, make a 20% resale cap, there'd be so many scams, so many bad
Oh,
actors that come into play and
gang-
to sell tickets. So if they went that far, you're exactly right. There'd be
it'd,
plenty of ticketing scams,
it'd be gangsters on the street again, like it was back before.
gangsters on the street.
Like I remember the first time I did any scalping, my friend got the tickets from a radio station, and they were like free Arizona Ducks tickets. Okay, and they were giveaways. They didn't even have a face value on them. So I'm out there selling them in front of the venue, trying to get like $20 a ticket, and I get surrounded by like 6 Compton gangsters, and they're like, "This is our territory. Get the hell out of here," like that. I'm like, "What?" And then in the meantime, the cops had thrown my partner in the paddy wagon and came over to me, and they're like, "I think we got your partner in our truck." And I'm like, "Those are my tickets. You can't keep those. Give me those." Like, and then the cop gave them to me, and then he looked at the other guys like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Nothing." I'm like, they were just threatening me, and they got hauled off.
Crazy.
They got hauled off, and I didn't. And they let my friend out, and I was like, "I'm never gonna do a street sale."
We don't want to mess with the Compton guys. Well, man, that's
no. I mean, it's just that I just think like, yeah, if you put too many laws on it, it's going to go back to that. It really will. And, or it'll go to shows that are empty because it's just, I know like there was a couple guys out there that were trying to make these uber technical, like facial recognition software and all this stuff. And like, okay, every time they try to do that stuff, they end up with a line, and half the people aren't even in the show when it starts, or like, there'll be a show in England. Like the EU is totally like they want to burn us at the stake in the EU. They want to kill us in the EU, like straight up. Like they hate scalpers so much, right?
right.
And if you cancel a seat, then that means that's going to be a fan who doesn't get in. Now what happens? They bought it on whatever market. It's still a seat, and then you're going to cancel that seat. And it's going to be a fan who doesn't get in. It's not going to be a broker. You know what I mean? And so it's tough on everybody to try to do it the right way. And, I believe, the artists should get what they deserve. But at the same time, they want fan loyalty, and they don't want their fans to think they're greedy pigs, and they don't. So if they don't want their fans to think they're greedy pigs and they're going to sell their tickets for lower than the market value, hey, it's America. I mean, the government loves us. They love the taxes we pay. I mean, so I personally would say to any young guy out there, like, don't ever feel bad about it, because you and I were talking about this before. I don't know anybody who works harder than ticket brokers.
They don't.
Other business. And I've been doing 90 hours a week for 25 years, and that's just because I love the game. That's why my son's in it. It's just a fun business. It used to be more fun, but it's matured, and yeah.
No, absolutely. So I mean, obviously fun business, and you're right. I mean, ticket brokers I talk to are on the clock, on the phone, 24/7. I mean, I talk to some of the same guys every single day, work their behinds off. You know what I'm all about. Can you follow my content? I'm all about righting the wrongs in tickets. I'm all about having ticket brokers, ticket resellers be part of the ecosystem, distribution, doing things the right way, not botting, but still making a living, whether it's B2B, whether it's with rights holders, whether it's finding events to arbitrage. I'm all for that. But in a perfect world, like, where's the happy medium ground to say, like, look, the secondary is here to stay, the primary. How do ticket resellers stay in the ecosystem without having crazy resale laws and so forth? Like, how can we all operate honestly and continue to right the wrongs in ticketing?
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is that it used to be that ticket brokers had customers. So there was customer service. Your client called you. He said, "Oh, I needed some seats for the Dodgers. I need 4 for this date, whatever." And there was actually some involvement between the broker.
Ticket concierge stuff, right?
Yeah, no, but before the markets, when it was just trader or whatever, they still had their own business, and people would call their company to buy tickets. And so you still had this relationship between the broker. Now you have a market where, they don't know who they're buying the ticket from.
Right.
Oh, and then the market treats the fans horribly. Like they don't answer the phone, they don't have customer service, da 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 da, blah blah blah, whatever. You hear all the complaints out there.
Right.
So I think the big problems is that, but I mean, we live in the internet age. I mean, what else could happen but what happened? Things happen as they should and always do. I mean, yeah. So I don't know if I can go back and say it should be like the 1980s again, and we should all sell our tickets directly to customers, because there's more money in not being a marketing expert and not having to pay a guy to run your website and not having to pay 20 pricers to sit there and reprice seats all day and take phone calls in. And, I mean, I remember
All automated, right.
150 people working for them, like some of the guys that I pulled for, when they were still selling directly to customers. And then StubHub came out and just changed the game. And now it's just, it's down to basically just two, really, right? I mean, there's others, but I mean, the domination of the market is only a couple. So even the secondary itself is kind of like not monopolistic, but so I think it's a crying shame that fans have to pay 2 or 3 times more. The brokers get blamed for it because Google's making $1 billion a month on click ads. Right. I mean, and that's really true, because like I know they spend hundreds of millions on the click ads, and so fans, why are you clicking that top link every time? It's like so. And so maybe if there was one thing I would change, I guess it would be that I would try to educate the fans and say, look, don't click the first link. Like, shop. It's like tickets are like insurance. Shop, shop, shop. Keep shopping. Don't believe your ticket. Don't believe your insurance broker. He's gonna treat his best customers the worst. I mean, you're from that side of it. Yeah, the way they treat season ticket holders, like in our industry, the best customers get treated the worst, and that's in a lot of industries like that. Unfortunately, that's why I quit insurance. Because I was trying to save my client money, and my boss was like, "Oh no, we need to give this to this insurance, but that's twice as much. Right. They're out of business, but we got to take care of the insurance carrier too." I'm like, "Dude, you're screwing the client. Like, what are you talking about?" That, anyways. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame that $1 billion a month goes to Google, and everybody blames the guys that work 90 hours a week. I mean, right. That is a crying shame to me.
Well said. And what's your advice to young resellers jumping in the business? I have a lot of them in my Discord group. Obviously, a lot of them watching tonight on X. What is the best way to start in the business? Whether it's becoming a reseller, whether it's working for a big ticketing company, a marketplace, a consolidator. I mean, what's the best advice you have for the young executives in ticketing?
Okay, so it depends on if you're that entrepreneurial spirited type. Right. Okay, I've never had a job. Like the first business I started was at 13. So, and I never, other than that insurance, which really was like my own business anyways, because I was making commissions by having clients. I just was with agency. But, if you're a person, like it depends on the person. If they're, I got to have a steady paycheck. I don't want the stress of worrying about my bills. I'm going to work in a corporation. I would say, good luck. I don't know how long that's going to last. I think that people that are entrepreneurial are built for this business, and that the more I would say prep, and prep. Yeah, just keep prepping. Like every night and every morning, me and my son are not picking the best shows. We're ruling out the ones that shouldn't be bought. That's like I'm like a. You think of me, I'm like a deconstructor, not a constructor. Like if I was a fisherman, I would grab all the fish and then throw out the ones I don't want, to make sure I get what I wanted. So I do that with the shows now. I go through them. We X out the ones we know are not good. It whittles down. We spend so much time on prepping and research and, make sure this, make sure that, and every little thing. I mean, I've got like 150 point AI predict thing I built that answers all these questions and tells me, and so I mean, I would say to the new guys that find relationships of trust, which is hard in this game. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of guys that you can't trust, and that it's important to go slow. So like when we start with a client, it's always a baby step. It's always like, look, we'll pull you 4 seats, see how it goes, and let's just start out slow, build up the relationship of trust, because it's real easy to get excited with a guy who's buying a lot of tickets, and oh yeah, my guy, I got 300 tickets today, and then all of a sudden he doesn't send you your overs for 4 months, or doesn't send them at all, or doesn't pay your cogs back, or whatever. There's a lot of dangerous, so I would just say be careful. Make sure you check out who you're doing business with. Yeah, we try to offer that to our customers. Like they a lot of guys call us like, we tried to dealing with this guy. I know who the good guys are and who aren't, just from my old days.
Awesome.
But it's the young guys that we like the most.
Right.
And I want to die happy knowing my son has something, and he's 24, so he's right there with them. And yeah, so my motivations have changed, dramatically, from selfish, I want to be the super cool rich guy, whatever, to now I want to see my son and daughter be taken care of and have a business, and not spoiled, mind you, because I've seen too many kids get ruined. I grew up in Santa and there was way too many kids who got ruined from that. But yeah, so it's changed.
Awesome. Well, Ken, fascinating story. Thanks for coming on, talking to the viewers about yourself. It's awesome to see you turn from a bad actor to a good actor to a good advocate in ticketing and so forth. So where can folks find your business, Tix Fans, and all about you, and contact you to do business?
Tix Intel,
Tix Intel.
Intel. Yeah. So if you're, I would suggest they go there. And we don't charge per user. It's $99 per company per month, and that also includes like 213-576-9245. I give my
cell phone out. Love it.
So I'm taking calls all day, and we try to be a high service, and then we also pull for them as brokers. So a lot of guys that don't want to pull. There's a lot of guys that don't want to pull, that want to focus on the pricing and whatever they do. Like I've never sold a ticket. Like I've only been a wholesaler, so I look for the best relationships, and then I build them up over time. And I'm careful about making sure that I don't go too deep in how much money they owe me, because that can get scary. You can, if you're, the one great thing about this business is if you don't have capital, let's say you're a 19-year-old guy, have zero capital, you can jump in the game. All you got to do is convince a broker to let you use his card to buy seats. I mean, there is no bar of entry. I mean, you need a computer and a broker that trusts you with his credit card to buy tickets. And so it's one of the last businesses I know of that doesn't have a financial bar of entry that stops people from jumping in. So if you're a young hustler and ready to work hard, then yeah, this business is still good.
Awesome, Ken. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great getting to know you. So proud that you become sober and you're doing great things. You're doing ticketing legitimately, and you're obviously getting your son into it and your family. And you seem like a good dude that's made a awesome comeback story. So very impressed, Ken. Thanks again for coming on Ticket Talk tonight, and we'll definitely keep in touch, my friend.
Thank you very much, and I really love what you're doing too.
Thank you, Ken. Take care. We'll talk soon. Thanks for joining, guys. Stay tuned to tomorrow's Ticket Talk morning. We'll have everything going on for the weekend. Have a great night, guys. Stay lean.